Tonight, the legend of Lloyd, from the mean streets of Stratford to the bright lights of Agincourt. A journalist who connects.
I'm about to be yesterday's news.
And a man with connections.
Bring it on, Anchorman.
You know I will, homie.
A Canadian original.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lloyd Robertson. Here's the news.
And a Canadian idol.
The world will always welcome lovers.
Celebrating a lifetime of achievement.
And that's the kind of day it's been. I'm Lloyd Robertson.
CTV National News with Lisa Laflamme.
Good evening from Lloyd's desk. Yeah, I still think of it as Lloyd's desk. His reminders help. Oh, and this. Just kidding. In fact, the opposite is true. He has encouraged me from day one to put my own stamp on this job, and honestly, I am just one in a long line of people who wouldn't be here if it weren't for Lloyd's guidance and support. For decades, he sat right here and brought the world into Canadian living rooms and taught this entire news team that it's okay to be tough if you're fair and critical if you're kind. And that's the kind of guy he is.
This was raw, early television, long before there were broadcast or journalism schools to teach us much about this new medium. We had to learn by doing, and it was very Darwinian. Not all good broadcasters survived. All of it was live, no teleprompters, hot, harsh lighting, thick, runny makeup, and nobody seemed to care much about those clunky earpieces being seen. Lots of fun, but scary too. 22 great growing years for me at the CBC. First appearing as a national newscaster in 1966, as a backup to Stanley Burke at that time, and then the Monday to Friday regular at 11 o'clock in 1970. It was a wonderful, if at times bumpy ride, and then, suddenly, I had a very tough decision to make. Well, the critics were near unanimous. When I moved from CBC to CTV in 1976, they predicted confidently that this pairing would never work. It was difficult at first, I do admit. Certainly we had to ease our egos to one side, but in that nice Canadian way, we did make it happen. Harvey and I became close friends too, and I like to think it helped journalism because it drew more people to watch the news, and was good for each of us because we were able to get out into the field more often and lend our experience to our reporting. Having been in the main anchor chair through 14 federal elections, and while many were close and interesting, one of the most fascinating was that 1980 vote that saw the resurrection of Pierre Trudeau. Joe Clark's Conservatives had beaten him in 1979 to form a minority, and Trudeau had resigned. He was gone from public life, but he heeded the call and returned to lead the Liberals. Well, he won, of course, and Joe Clark, he never recovered. So much of the world was stunned by Diana's death. It was so sudden, senseless, and violent. And as we documented those last years of her turbulent existence, we were also struck by how she had connected with people, like no royal before her. One British author wrote, "She captured the imagination with her glittering sense of style, her personal warmth, and playful sort of charisma. She changed the way the royal family massages its public image. And while we still can't interview the Queen, the family is now more open and accessible than ever before." Well, there were two tragedies through the last half of the 20th century and the early years of the 21st, and everybody remembers where they were at those times. Both seemed to bring an abrupt halt to all of life's normal activities, but 9/11 was the longer, more torturous time because it kept coming at us over several hours, and we could never be sure when it would be over. Most observers around for both events agree that 9/11 had the more lasting impact, with the deaths of close to 3,000 people, and the new normal, as we call it, that has brought lasting consequences for millions of people throughout the world every day. And signing off with gratitude, it's time to say goodbye.
Lloyd, you and I have come a long way since we first worked together at CBC Radio back in 1970. Me, the young pup, you, even then, the unflappable veteran. Of course, it wasn't long before TV recognized just how good-looking we both are, and then the rest followed. You've been such a great inspiration to journalists across the country. You've pushed all of us to be better at what we do, but you've also been a great friend, always willing to help whomever asks for it. Always wanting what's best for your country, your city, your community. I admire that quality more than anything. And with you and all you've accomplished, that says a lot. You've made me a better journalist and a better friend. It also proves that Stratford really does foster great talent across the board. It's you, me, and Justin Bieber, baby. Congratulations, Lloyd. You've changed this industry, and you've changed all of us for the better.